So let's talk about your hips. Now, with my challenges, I've done a lot now, so I've literally had thousands of people go through my challenges. And it's very interesting for me to see which are the most frequent issues that come up that people are having to deal with in their lives. And hips, they're at the top of the list. So a lot of people complain that they have stiffness in their hips, or they may even have pain, or they have pain with certain movements, or it may be that they've lost their range. There's certain movements that they used to be able to do and they simply can't go there now. So it's not surprising. It really isn't surprising. This is a result of our modern lives. So as children, we used to sit on the floor all the time, playing with toys, sitting in lots of different positions. And we don't do that anymore. We go to school, they tell you you've got to sit still on your chair, stop fidgeting, stop moving around. And we end up in our lives that our most frequent position is like this, sitting with our hips in flexion here. So flexion is this position when you're bringing your knee towards your chest, and that is so limiting because there's so many other movements that the hips can do. So if I can just show you here, you can flex, you can extend the hip, but remember the hip is a ball and socket joint, so it can rotate. So you can rotate externally and you can rotate internally. Now, if you're standing up trying to do this movement, internal rotation, that's the one that most people struggle with. So remember, your hips are a ball and socket joint, just like your shoulders. They're incredibly versatile. The range of motion is amazing. The different movements in your hip and your shoulders are way more than you will get in any other joints in the body, those ball and socket joints. So they're designed for all these different movements that allow us to get into very different positions. But unfortunately, because we always sit like that, we have lost those movements. So I say to people, please sit on the floor as often as you can. When did you last sit on the floor? Well, the answer to that from a lot of people is that they haven't done it for a very long time. The reason being, if they were to sit on the floor, they know they wouldn't feel very comfortable. And also they've got the problem of once they've got down there, they've got to get back up again. And for a lot of people, that's not easy. But I would still say, give it a try, because the more you do it, the easier it will get. So you're going to get two things from sitting on the floor. You're going to get range of movement, which is going to improve your mobility in the hip, and you're also going to get some strength training. So to come up off the floor, yes, these leg muscles are going to have to work really hard. Another little tip is, if you find you always get off the floor like this with this leg forward, then next time, hopefully you'll find yourself on the floor, because I do want you to get down there. Think, no, I'm going to use my other leg to get up instead. But maybe you're in a situation where just getting up, you just can't do it. So if you have to put your hand on something, that's absolutely fine. If you have to use props to help you get up. So sitting on the floor, you're going to build strength, getting down and up again, but you're going to get variety of movement. So when we sit as I was, like that, the standard chair-seated position, if we think of it like nutrition for the body, so physical nutrition, the body loves variety. And when you sit like that, it's the equivalent of eating the same meal for breakfast, lunch and dinner, day after day after day. Your body is not getting variety. Now, if equating that to food, you'd never want to do that. You know that it wouldn't be good for you to have the same meal every single day, every time, every single day. So we need nutrition variety in our movement too. So this is such a good thing, sitting on the floor. Yes, we can do structured exercise to work on our hips, that's fine. But this is so easy because when you sit on the floor, you won't be able to sit in the same position for more than a minute, maybe for some people, not even that. You will be forced to move, forced to change position, to swap around a little bit. Maybe you sit cross-legged, maybe you do a half kneeling, or you might want to stretch one leg out or both legs out. It's impossible to sit in the same position for very long. So you're just forced into giving yourself, your hips, that movement. Now, some people wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing there, and that's quite understandable. So you need props. So you can use cushions or books or whatever. So sitting cross-legged like this, a lot of people have lost the ability to do that. It just doesn't feel comfortable. So if you pop something under your hips, it's just going to raise you up slightly and you will feel so much more comfortable like this. This is another one that I particularly like because a lot of people find it really hard to sit like this. So I use this when I'm working. Often I'll put my laptop on this little step and I'll be working like this. Again, it's lifting the hips slightly away from the floor, making it a lot more comfortable. So definitely use props. I love the fact that we live in a country that has carpets, because when I go on holiday and I go somewhere warm, it's all tiled floors and they're not very pleasant to sit on. I'm always looking for rugs and cushions. What can I find so that I can sit on the floor? So we are quite lucky in that respect. Okay, so really try this. It's so easy to add extra movement into your life simply by sitting on the floor. You might not be able to do it for long at first, so you might think, well, just a couple of minutes, change your position a few times during that time, and then go and sit on the sofa after that. But just don't always default straight to the sofa, and you will find over time that you will improve. It'll begin to feel more comfortable. Just an added point, for some people, they can find it gets very tiring in their back and they just want to slump because they're missing that back support. So that's absolutely fine to support your back. I do it sometimes because my back can get a bit tired. If I'm sitting watching telly, I'll just sit with my back against the sofa, just for that, especially in the evenings when you're tired, just for that extra support, and that's fine. But let's get you moving those hips, giving them the nutrition that they so desperately need.